everyone, for joining tonight's post-match media availability with Nashville City head coach Callaghan. Coach, just start off by talking about the match. First win in club history versus Red Bulls, 2-1 victory. What did you see out there, and how did the win feel?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really competitive match. Red Bull makes it very difficult on you, can hurt you in a lot of different ways. I thought the team, handled it really well. I think what you saw was a team that was able to adapt and adjust, kind of as a lot was thrown at them, and at the same time, still remain playing like us. Really proud of the 2 goals that we scored. Like that. I always joke with the guys, but it's one of those when you daydream about what a Nashville goal will look like. Those two are right up there. So just really, again, it's a team performance. Quick turnaround from Saturday to Wednesday. The guys did a great job, and collectively the group was got the result that they wanted.
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Ben, then go to Wes and Blair.
BJ, the second game in a row that you kind of have had to close out a tough game at the end with Red Bulls and Charlotte last time out throwing a lot at you. What can you say just about kind of the defensive resolve that you guys showed tonight?
Yeah, I think you see the group was able to adjust and adapt, especially to close this game out. Red Bull made some really good adjustments out of halftime. It took us a little bit to get our footing. We get our footing. They score, we score 2-1, and now they're making more adjustments. And so just, again, I think all of these little moments that we're accumulating in the season, can continue to allow us to grow, learn and grow. And, hopefully we can then fall back on these experiences when we need them to continue to get results.
And then I know you've talked in the past about just really wanting to get results at home consistently. Last year, Nashville had 5 wins at home in MLS through the whole season, and you've already hit that this year. Just what does the kind of improved form at home say about the improvements this team is making?
Yeah, I think collectively the group is moving in the right direction. You can see how committed they are from to each other, and from day one, we started here. We said we want to be a team that represents the city. We want to be a team that represents the fans and can be they can be proud of. And we want them to come to the stadium. They give us great energy, and from there, we want to make this place a really difficult place. We want to be a team that's hard to play against, and we want this Geodis Park to be a really difficult place to play. And right now, it is.
West Bowling Club and Country. Hani rarely starts fast in a season, and this is the time of year that he seems to really catch his stride and start to heat up. What does that say about maybe the way he comes into his season and his persistence to keep plugging away and finding those opportunities? And I mean, again, this is the time of year. 6 years is a pattern, and it seems to be when he gets hot.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hani's a player that eats, breathes, sleeps soccer, and so he's someone who's constantly trying to improve himself, find ways, and study the game and how he can improve there. And I think what you see is just a kind of a continual learning and growing environment. Now he's starting to figure out where he's finding the ball in the penalty box and doing more repetitions in those angled shots. I mean, you kind of tonight's shot and the one versus Charlotte come from a very similar angle. So for me, it's just he's truly dedicated at his craft. And he's constantly working to improve, and I think that's why you see an upward trajectory throughout his seasons. And selfishly, I'd rather it that way. I'd rather slow starts and hot finishes than the other way around.
And then Patrick continues to give you some great problems to have, some tough decisions in midfield with your 11s and come through as a defensive stalwart, but then also pick his moments to get forward. What does it mean to have a guy who can see the game like that and pick a moment like he did tonight to get forward on the counterattack and ultimately have a good finish for you?
Yeah, I think that goal is what our team is about as well. Like, we were pinned back a little bit deep in a low block. They make a backwards pass, we're able to move. They make a second backwards pass, we're able to move a little bit higher. We turn them over, and then you can see, guys like Patrick and Eddie and these center midfielders, they can run, and we can get out. We can get out in transition, or like our second goal, we were able to win the ball, get to the other side, and connect a lot of passes and get everybody in the box. So, again, collectively he was a shining player tonight in the idea of, like, with everybody attacking, everybody defending, he gets a great goal contribution or scores the goal, and I think that's his first for the club.
BJ, speaking of that, we've talked about the defensive players getting goals, and obviously the attackers have been getting goals. But the sixes, if you would, just haven't been maybe scoring as much as the other two groups. So have you made any specific effort to get more goals out of that position, or is this just something that came out tonight?
No, I think it was just something that came out just kind of from where we won the ball, and he kind of had that head start to per se. Again, we want everybody to score goals, but they have primary jobs to do before that, and we'll take those extra ones. But you can see, I think they're confident when they have the moment to go, that they have the freedom to go, and they know because they have the support of everybody behind them that somebody else will cover them and fill their position. So I think getting to play with that sense of freedom, you get moments like that from these guys.
And then 5 unbeaten, 4 wins in the last 5 games. I guess, how do you maybe not celebrate, but enjoy these little wins, knowing that I know you're a guy focused on process and continuing to keep going. So how do you enjoy these little moments, I guess?
I mean, we'll have a couple minutes in the locker room to enjoy it, and I think everybody's going to go try to get some sleep. We'll turn it around tomorrow, and honestly, we'll spend the morning rehashing this game, making sure we get the evaluation done and the learning lessons and exactly what we can apply to DC United, and we'll spend the afternoon shifting our minds and 100% focused on DC United and what opportunities we can do we want to get 3 points and we want to win at home, and the objective is clear on Saturday.
PJ, going back to Patrick and the goal, I mean, you know them better than anybody. Even we just watch him play sometimes, and when you see him picking up that ball so far back from the box, I mean, what was your thought process? Is he gonna you've seen him doing that, taking it all the way there, take the shot? Do you see the guy open on the left? I mean, what do you think about that?
Listen, when I see him take off like that, the first thing I'm looking is, does he have support next to him? I saw support next to him. I'd be lying if I didn't say there probably a thought crossed my head that he should have passed the guy into the in. But when you have confident players, and we do it, and he cuts off to his right foot and hits a great shot. So we always want those players to be able to make those decisions. But when I was just glad that the way we teach counterattacking transition, offensive transition, that was a textbook for us.
I mean, this team has been doing like a collective effort for sure. It shows. But is it different when you see one of the guys that does the main, like he was already stated here, that type of job that he and Eddie do, and you see them actually scoring, not just helping somebody score? Is it a different feeling for the coach?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great because they're going to get the recognition tonight. Hey, Patrick, you guys are asking me questions about Patrick because he scores, and deservedly so. But they put so much work in that it somehow just doesn't show up on the stat sheet. So of course you want that moment because you want that recognition, and sort of, and he deserves it. They all these guys that put in these efforts do, and for us, I think it's great, but we want him to we're more concerned that he continues to do the great job in the middle of the field first and foremost.
BJ, earlier in the game, obviously, New York comes out with their high press, and your team's trying to figure out how to go past that. That is, Jack Mayer, if it's Whitemeyer, whoever in the back, kind of gets that ball. Tonight, Jack had a couple of those little pinging crosses towards the corner flag. Was that something that was maybe discussed in the, build up to this game in preparation for New York to try to beat their high press if the opportunity came?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, again, we talk about evaluating every time we play a team and learning and growing from those opportunities. We didn't hide behind the fact that when we went to Red Bull, we probably tried to play through a tremendous high press from them. And so, we have to learn, we have to grow, we have to adapt. And, so tonight, yeah, of course, Jacob was in the game, who didn't play in the first game versus Red Bull. And, I thought it was an opportunity for us to kind of stretch them and again, attract the opponent, and then try to get to the other side, and then hopefully open it, let the game open up a little bit. And I thought that's kind of, what happened. So for sure, they're a well coached, cohesive group, and if you give them opportunities to press you, they're going to do a really good job at it.
And tonight, they're obviously, you're the coach, you're animated on the sideline, but at the same time, tonight it seemed like there were a little bit more hands on hips for you, a little bit more direction towards players on the field. Oh, did this game have any extra significance for you when it comes to just winning this game? Is it a match to you that you may have circled on the calendar saying this game could catapult us into something later on into the season?
No, I mean, I think I approach every one of these games exactly the same. I think maybe just I think from a tactical standpoint tonight, Red Bull was really good. Sandro made great adjustments constantly, so credit to them, and we had to keep making adjustments. So maybe your observation is just kind of that, trying to get as much information out there as possible. I don't know how much actually gets heard, but maybe it makes me feel better.
Yeah. BJ, I guess what gave you the confidence to go with Chris Applewhite for those last 10, 15 minutes of the game? I know he's played before in MLS and the U.S. Open Cup. What gave you the confidence in him to go out there and close this game out?
His performances in those previous opportunities. He's been sort of getting those little chances, and now we're starting to have him build experience here. And sometimes experience isn't just about total minutes. But now he's learning how to go into games and do different things and do different roles when you come in. And now he has to go into a back five, and he has to close a game out versus some high-level players in Forsberg and Chupo and combinations. So for me, he's earning he's earning those opportunities from his performances in his previous opportunities.
Yeah. And I guess going into Saturday against DC United, obviously that was the game, your final game at home last season. You lost 4-3, really big blow to your playoff hopes. Is that any extra motivation or anything on the mind of your guys to go into this match, or is that too early to maybe tell?
No, we're locked in to get 3 points here, and we don't need any more. We're motivated already. We'll get some rest tonight, and we'll take inventory tomorrow morning, and we'll put another strong team out there on Saturday night with the same objective, is to win at Geodis Park and get 3 points.
We won't have another availability before Saturday, so any other questions on DC?
I'll go one more if you don't mind. Yeah, how do you approach these really congested places on the schedule? You go unchanged 11 tonight. I guess maybe that's my question is what's your thought process behind going the unchanged 11 from last time, knowing you've got a tough test against DC Saturday and the U.S. Open Cup? How do you evaluate that? Is it earlier in the month you're kind of picking through what that could look like, or are you kind of really going game by game with how guys respond, form, fitness?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think we've previously has been able to rotate a lot of guys. You see, even in the Chattanooga game, we're able to give a whole new group minutes in their legs, knowing that what this was going to look like on a Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. So, and then the way we train, we've been training in preseason with the mindset of being ready to be able to perform on a Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday cadence. So, confident in the whole group that when each guy's name is called, they're going to step up, and we don't drop our standards and expectations.
I just wanted to ask about Eddie. I know he's been on yellow card watch for, it seems like, forever. And just what does it say about his ability to avoid yellow cards, but also have kind of the same impact on games that he did before?
I mean, he's just a mature player. I think he knows. I think it's also getting used to the league a little bit and kind of finding that line. And then Eddie will go right up to the line, which we love. We're right about that. We're about intensity, and so for us, But I think he's been able to navigate, and I mean, it's a credit to him and credit to his commitment to go for that. And again, without, I don't think, changing the impact that he's making on the team.
BJ, obviously DC comes different in a different level that the New York comes today. Is that makes them more dangerous in any way? I mean, they're looking to do better, to start better. what would be better than beating, in Nashville in Jody's, like you said? Is that make them a team that you have to not worry more? I guess you worry the same, but with all the team. But what's so dangerous about them because of the situation they have on the table?
Yeah, I think the way we approach the game, the way we prepare for the game, the opponent is always going to get our respect, always. So in terms of that, I think we're going to continue to do exactly what we do, and approach it to play the way we want to play. But DC is going to present unique issues for us, by the way that they play. Really good pressing team, a team that can, can play direct. But even if you see some of tonight's game, they did a really nice job building up and playing through their midfielders. So they're going to bring I would say a different dynamic. And yeah, I'm sure they're hungry for a win. And so we expect their best. Because like you said, that might be what catapults them to a great season. But we're in a really good form right now. We're a confident group, and we'll continue to do what we do, and our expectation will still be to get 3 points.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll be right back.